What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins I don't even know how to put it into words. It was embarrassing, disappointing, and a frustrating performance in a game that felt like we could have made a statement against the Buffalo Bills. And instead, we go to Buffalo in a hostile environment. We knew this was a big game, and we went in there and we shit the bed. That's just plain simple. And now you're going to have everybody on the national media calling the Miami Dolphins frauds. They can't get past the Buffalo Bills. They're not better than the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be all week. So I'm just warning you guys right now, the national media, the same people who've been praising the Dolphins up and down the media all in the last 3 weeks is going to be saying they're frauds this week. You wait and you watch because it's going to happen. They just didn't play good. No one showed up today outside of one Devon A-Chain. Who just continues to be impressive every week for the Dolphins. The defense, where do I start? At the end of the day, this was a team loss, but it doesn't matter how many points you put up. If the defense is just going to continue to get bullied and not be able to tackle, there's nothing you can do on the offensive side of the ball. And the Dolphins only put up 20 points. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep up with the Bills' offense, but there comes to a point where it's like, what's the point of scoring if you are just going to have the defense give up every single drive, a touchdown or a field goal, and turn it into points? And this defense needs a hard look in the mirror this week. Everybody on that defense needs to look at themselves in the mirror. They got absolutely no pressure to Josh Allen today, and they only sacked him, I believe, twice. Both of them was by Andrew Van Ginkel. The entire defense needs to take a look at their mirror and think about what they've done this year, because this cannot happen every time we play a good offense in the NFL. What is going to happen when we face Jalen Hurts in a couple weeks, when we have to play Patrick Mahomes later in the season, when we have to play the Cowboys and the Bills once again? What is going to happen? Are they just going to fold and they're going to have to pray up? We're going to have to pray we win this one in a shootout, because we know that we're not going to be able to stop their offense. You're not going to be able to win that way in the NFL. And the defense got cooked. And the blame goes on everybody. It goes on the players. It goes on Vic Fangio, who got outcoached, outsmarted, and quite frankly, no adjustments at halftime, clearly, because the plan in the game was to have Kader Kohou cover Stephon Diggs. Now, look, Kader Kohou's a fine cornerback in the NFL, but having him be the sole responsibly on Stephon Diggs, that's not going to work. And he's too young. He's only in his second year. And Stephon Diggs is one of the best receivers in the NFL and had a field day against the Dolphins. So we'll get into some stats really quickly before we talk about this one. I turned the game off at the third quarter. There was no point. Tua just threw an interception. The Bills scored in 2 plays, and at that point, I'm like, this game's a wrap. So I'm only going to go over this game up until the third quarter. Um, the Bills took this one 48-20, and I mean, look, a week 4 loss against the Buffalo Bills isn't the end of the world, but man, I just wish that the Dolphins came into this game a little bit more competitive. It looked like they were nowhere near on the level of the Buffalo Bills, and they still have a lot of work to do to get up to the top of the AFC East, because as long as no one takes the crown from the Buffalo Bills, they are still the kings of the AFC East for as long as they want. And we will see them at the end of the season. We have our path for the rest of the season. We have theirs. Maybe we're playing for the division in Week 18, but as of right now, the Bills are still the kings of the AFC East. And the Dolphins are literally going to have to take it from them because they are a damn good fucking football team. They're a good team. So let's get into some stats, and then we'll go over this game. Tua Tagovailoa was 25 for 35, 282 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Didn't have his best game of the season today. Devon Achane was the only bright spot for the Dolphins offense today. He had 8 carries, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You got to give the ball to Achane more, man. And the balance on the passing and run game was not there. Like it has been the past 2 weeks, there was no balance. The Dolphins threw the ball 35 times, and they only ran the ball 19 times. I don't know why McDaniel didn't trust the run game in this game, but I don't know. And Raheem Mostert had a bad game today, too. After going off in the past 2 games against the Patriots and the Broncos, today he had 7 carries for 9 yards, and he had a crucial fumble at the end of the first half when the Dolphins were down 28-14. And the offense, I'm not going to sit here and say the offense played good, because first 2 drives, they scored touchdowns. They scored a touchdown on the opening drive in the third quarter, and I don't know what happened the rest of the game. McDaniel was not the same play caller like he was the last 3 weeks. It was just bad. It was bad, and, gotta give props to where props are due, because Sean McDermott outcoached Mike McDaniel today, and really, the entire Buffalo Bills coaching staff outcoached the Miami Dolphins coaching staff. So Tyreek Hill had 3 catches for 58 yards. Jalen Waddle had 4 catches for 46 yards. Braxton Berrios had 6 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. Durham Smythe had 4 catches for 41 yards, and Raheem Mostert had 3 catches for 36 yards. As far as the Buffalo Bills goes, Josh Allen had the same amount of incompletions as he did touchdown passes. 21 for 25, 320 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Latavius Murray had 32 rushing yards. James Cook had 29 rushing yards and a touchdown. Damian Harris had 29 rushing yards. Josh Allen had a rushing touchdown. The Bills ran the ball 29 times, and they rushed for 104 yards. So they had a nice balance. The Bills and Josh Allen were going after Kader Kohou all day, who was being covered by Stephon Diggs, and Diggs had 6 receptions, 120 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Gabe Davis, 3 catches, 61 yards. James Cook, 1 catch, 48 yards. Dalton Kincaid, 4 catches for 27 yards. So we're going to go over this game as best as we can, man. As best as we can, we're going to go over this game. Hopefully, I can make it as quick and painless as possible. The Bills, they start the game with the ball. They go 8 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 36. Latavius Murray for 2 yards. Josh Allen to Dalton Kincaid for 7 yards. Latavius Murray with a 3-yard run. Josh Allen on 2nd down goes to Stephon Diggs for 17 yards, and a penalty on the flag to Kato Kohu for unnecessary roughness. Josh Allen then wide open to Gabriel Davis for a touchdown, 18 yards. Justin Bethel, blown coverage. The Dolphins answer back, 7 plays, 77 yards, and their own touchdown. Tua Tagovailoa to Durham Smythe for 8 yards. Then again Tua to Durham Smythe, this time for 22 yards. 2nd and 8. Tua threw it in the middle of the field. It was bobbled by Bernard, the linebacker for the Bills, and it was caught by Jalen Waddle for 11 yards. Tua to Tyreek Hill for 19 yards. And then 1st and 5, Tua gets it to A-Chain for 7 yards. And then down at the Bills 3, Devon A-Chain, 3-yard rushing touchdown. The Bills go 10 plays, 80 yards, and they get a touchdown once again. 2nd and 7, Josh Allen to Dalton Kincaid for 5 yards. 3rd and 2, Josh Allen to Trent Sherfield for 9 yards. Josh Allen to Dawson Knox for 12 yards. Josh Allen to Dalton Kincaid for 9 yards. So every play just seems like they're picking up chunk yardage. And the defense for the Dolphins was Swiss cheese all game long. And they could not tackle worth a shit. Latavius Murray, 29 yards up the middle, down to the 13. James Cook for 5 yards. 1st and goal, James Cook for 1 yard and a touchdown. And that's the end of the first quarter. The Dolphins go 7 plays, 70 yards, and they get another touchdown. Tua to Tyreek for 20 yards. Tua then deep right to Raheem Mostert, a nice catch for 22 yards. Really the only good highlight Raheem had on this game. 2nd and 10, Tua fumbled, but it was recovered by Braxton Berrios, thank goodness. And then Tua to Braxton Berrios for 15 yards and a 1st down, and then just give it to Devon A-Chain for a 10-yard touchdown. We're tied at 14. The Bills, they make it look easy once again. 5 plays, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs for 16 yards. Josh Allen incomplete to Stephon Diggs. But Kato Kohu gets pass interference, and that's really why the Bills scored on this touchdown. Kato Kohu, all he had to do was turn around and locate the ball, and he could not do that, and it was a 43-yard penalty. And they targeted him all game with him guarding Stephon Diggs, and Vic Fangio just decided not to make any adjustments because, fuck it, why not? Josh Allen to Trent Sherfield for 9 yards, and then on 2nd down, Damian Harris to the 1-yard line, and it's called illegal formation. 2nd and goal, Josh Allen wide open to Stephon Diggs for a touchdown, 21-14. 3rd down, the Dolphins went 3 and out on this drive. Tua threw it to Raheem Mostert for 5 yards, and it was a fumble, but it was recovered by Braxton Berrios once again. So 2 fumbles already, and recovered both by Berrios. The Bills, they punt in 4 plays. 3rd down and 2. Tua was incomplete to Raheem Mostert, and this was the play when Tyron Armstead got hurt. He was slow to get up, and he was walking very gingerly back to the locker room, and he did not come out for the rest of the game, and it looked like an ankle injury. I don't know how bad the injury is, but I would make the prediction that he's not going to play next week against the Giants, and he's possibly not going to play the following week against the Panthers. So, once again, no Teron Armstead. And when he's on the field, he's a top 5 tackle in the NFL. But the man's problem is he's always always, always hurt, and he just can't help it. So he's out for the game. The Bills, 2 plays. I don't even want to talk about this play. This was a 5-yard out to Stephon Diggs. Kato Kohu has him wrapped up, and he spins Diggs around, and Diggs is able to break loose and get a touchdown. That's just unexcusable football. I don't know what to say. That's just pathetic on the part of Kato Kohu. He really needs to look at himself in the mirror. That was not good. 3 plays, 3rd and 1, pitch to Raheem Mostert, loss of 2. Matt Milano forces a fumble, and it's recovered by the Bills. They go 4 plays, minus 4 yards. They get a field goal. And it's 31-14 at halftime. And I kind of figured the game was over at this point. Just the Dolphins defense could not get a stop any which way at all. And it was pathetic. It was absolutely pathetic. Their first half performance on this game, just brutal. I don't know where the play calling went with Mike McDaniel. Vic Fangio looked like he didn't even prepare his defense. For crying out loud, I don't even know what the game plan was for this defense today. Because whatever they tried to do didn't work. And Josh Allen picked them apart. So, at this point, we get to the 3rd quarter. It is Dolphins getting the ball first. They go 11 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. 2nd and 10, Tua to Devon Achane for 7 yards. Tua gets a 3-yard run up the middle for 3 yards. Devon Achane gets a 15-yard run. Tyreek Hill on an end around for 14 yards. Devon Achane for 4 yards. Tua gets the ball finally to Jalen Waddle for 17 yards. And then Tua gets a 4-yard scramble for 4. And on 3rd and 6, at the Bills' 11, Tua finds a wide open Braxton Berrios at the end of the end zone for a touchdown. So, thankfully, at least Tua got his touchdown pass today. And Braxton Berrios got his first touchdown of the season for the Dolphins. The Dolphins' defense not able to hold, giving up more points to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills go 7 plays, 60 yards. James Cook for 5 yards. Josh Allen for 6 yards. And then, again, this is just inexcusable right here. 1st and 10 at the Bills' 36. The Dolphins got absolutely no pressure on Josh Allen today. None. To the point where he's able to extend plays, run to the sideline, and find James Cook wide open, who has to get in a track meet with David Long, and he's going to beat it. James Cook got a reception for 48 yards. And then 2nd and 6, Josh Allen was sacked by Andrew Van Ginkel. And then Josh Allen scrambled for 4 yards, and he was tackled by Justin Bethel. And Tyler Bass kicked a 33-yard field goal. It's now 34-20 Bills. And 2 plays into the next drive, Liam Eichenberg, bad snap. Connor Williams. Oh, Connor Williams not playing in this game. Huge. Because Liam Eichenberg had bad snaps. And Liam Eichenberg can't block too. And this guy is going to get Tua hurt. He can't block for worth a shit, and it's really embarrassing as a center. Once you snap the ball, you can't find anybody to block. And there were points in this game where Liam Eichenberg couldn't block anybody, and he nearly got Tua killed. And Tua on the next play threw it to Robbie Chosen, and it was intercepted by Micah Hyde. The Bills go 4 plays, 25 yards. Josh Allen to Gabe Davis for 9 yards. Josh Allen to Deontay Hardy for 7 yards. And then Josh Allen, once again, to Stephon Diggs for 13 yards. At this point, it's 41-20. Dolphins, I'm sorry, I wish. 41-20 Bills going into the fourth quarter. Tua to Tyreek for 19 yards. Third and 6. Tua to Braxton Berrios for 5 yards, which absolutely should have been a first down. I don't know how in the world they did not overturn that call and turn it to a first down, because that was absolutely, in my opinion, that looked like a first down. And then this is when I had to turn the game off. 4th and 1 at their 47-yard line. You would think it's so simple to just run the fucking ball and get the first down. Mike McDaniel has Tua in shotgun on 4th and 1. The offensive line collapses, and Tua gets sacked by Ed Oliver. And unfortunately, this is where Tre'Davious White, the star corner for the Bills, was covering Tyreek Hill, and he went down with a non-contact injury. He got carted off the field, towel over his head. Very, very bad sign. He's probably got a torn Achilles. Best wishes go out to Trey White, because that looked devastating. And when you see the player have the towel over his head, it's never a good sign. So I can acknowledge that the Bills destroyed the Dolphins today, but I really hope for the best for Tre'Davious White, as it looks like he's going to be out for some time. So that's really when I stopped watching. Just an awful play call by Mike McDaniel. And that offensive line collapsed. By far their worst game of the season today. They allowed four sacks on this game today. Bills got a touchdown in 2 plays. Turnover on downs by the Dolphins. Punt by the Bills. Turnover on downs by the Dolphins once again. And the Bills just end the game by running the ball. And they pummeled. They absolutely destroyed the Miami Dolphins in this game. I didn't expect to go undefeated. When I made my predictions at the beginning of the season, I had the Miami Dolphins taking a loss in Buffalo. And, you know, what I'm more mad about is this was not a competitive game at all. Once the Bills got their first stop on defense, they had the momentum. They controlled the game. The defense of the Dolphins couldn't do shit to the Bills. And now I'm questioning the defense, whether this is going to happen every time. We have to play a good offense, because 2 out of the first 4 games, we've had to face really good offenses. With the Chargers and the Bills, they allowed 34 points to the Chargers, and it was just as bad against the Bills, allowing 48 points in this game. What's going to happen when they have to face good offenses in the future? They play Jalen Hurts in a couple weeks. Or is this defense going to get picked apart by the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts? How about the Kansas City Chiefs? when we have to play them in Germany in a couple weeks. Is Patrick Mahomes going to pick apart this Miami Dolphins defense? Vic Fangio and this defense better take a long look in the mirror. And the team better take this game, flush it down the toilet, and move on. Terrible loss today. You proved to the entire world that you're not there yet. And the Buffalo Bills are still, as much as I hate to say it, are still a better team than the Miami Dolphins are. And now you have to take this game, flush it down the toilet, because coming up next week, you have the Giants. Giants are struggling right now. Giants play tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. And then as a home game, and then they have to prepare for a road game. So they're coming off a short week, off a Monday night game. And then you play the Carolina Panthers right after that. Inexperienced team. They're young, but they're not good. Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, Tua, Vic Fangio need to flush this game down the toilet. Start preparing for the Giants now, because that's a game that you need to win. Next week is now must win, because you have to take advantage of these teams. The Giants, I'm giving more benefit to because of what they did last year. So I'm having thoughts that the Giants could give us a good game. And even if it is a good game, you have to find a way to get the W. You have to find a way to beat the Giants next week. And hopefully, we can get our starters healthy. I'm not sure if Teron Armstead's going to play. I'm not sure if Connor Williams is going to play. I will say this. If Connor Williams does not play, we're fucked. Because I cannot take another game with Liam Eichenberg at center. It don't matter where you put him. He's garbage. He's straight up garbage. And I don't think there's a way to get him better. The Liam Eichenberg experience has been a failure. So, if Armstead doesn't play next week, at least cross your fingers that Connor Williams is going to be back for the Dolphins next week. Because, boy, they could certainly use him in the blocking game. He's much, much better than Liam Eichenberg. Hopefully Jalen Phillips is okay to go next week. Hopefully Deshaun Elliott, who didn't play today, is going to be fine for next week. Eli Apple was a healthy scratch. We'll see if he plays next week against the Giants. We just got to get healthy and really start preparing for the Giants, because this is a game you need to win. It's a must-win game next week. So, thank goodness there's an AEW pay-per-view tonight so that I can get my mind off this shit. Hallelujah. I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. We have more content coming up this week on the channel. Dolphins, Giants this week. And we'll have all the coverage here on the Big Fight Fuel channel for that game. Leave a comment down below if you're a Dolphins fan. If you're a Bills fan and you want to talk smack, by all means, I'm giving you the green light today. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. And I will see you in the next video. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. And fins up.